Hey, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. GIL Premium Elite members. I sent out this these really exciting drill results from Focus. The stock actually opened up at 8 cents. There's some profit taking, cooling off, but I think that thing's going a lot higher. There's three drill results from that program, assays pending. And then there's enough in the bank to do a quick follow-up program around Morris high grade. There's only been there's only been some criticism about this asset in Quebec based on how deep it is. And it's got good grades, but not grades, high enough where the 1.8 million ounces and even expanding to 3 or 4, there's questions of mine economics and things like that. If they get more of this high grade, guys, those questions go away and the stock can go so many multiples higher. So let's see what happens. But when it pulled back to 6.5 cents offer, I bought more. I own a lot. I own a lot of Focus. I think I'm up to like 2.7 million shares and 1 million warrants or something, or 1.5 million warrants. I've got to check, but it's a lot. I own a big piece of this one. I think it's one of the better plays we have. And again, one of the things that can change everything in a bad market for one of these little stocks is a discovery. And this is really a high grade discovery follow-up. But if they keep coming out with bangers like this, Focus could get hot, like word out around Canada and the US and Europe. And, this thing could really keep going. I don't, if it cools off here in the next days, I said buy up to 7.5 Canadian. I believe that. I think that's where you want to put your limit for today. And then anything below that, just keep chipping away. If you don't have a position or you have already a big position, just don't even think about flipping. I mean, this is going to be one that we could see 3, 5, 10x fairly easily, actually, whether it's just an improvement in the market or some more holes like this. One that's been a brutal defeat, and I apologize. Sometimes, I'm looking at things through a positive lens and then I avoid, until I get to it, some of the negative calls, which one of them recently obviously has been Max, which has been very frustrating for me and for a lot of you guys. I mean, we were buying so much of this in the 40s and even like low 50s, and it was so close to breaking out. And then, there was so much resistance around that time. And what I think happened is simply that, the people behind it are so jacked up about this Wilcox Playa discovery that we should be getting assays for soon. And that's better prove out into the expectations. But the expectations, the bloom is off that rose now. So if they actually come out and find this new lithium playa that they believe they've got enough of the initial evidence and had that, and that's why they were getting so excited and buying, and that, that came over to me. And then I look at the chart and I see that if we just got through that mid 50s, this thing was going to pop. So I anticipated it a little bit too early. And then all of a sudden, we see this watershed decline. Part of that was triggered by one of the vendors who owned a bunch of stock that just decided to dump. But the bigger part of it is look at anything in the lithium sector. So I'm going to share my screen, and this is where, I made an error in the short term. I think Max is going to work out great in the long term. But look at that. I mean, we've been cut in half. We're oversold on the daily. Look at Lithium Americas is even more oversold. This is a weekly chart and it's oversold. On the daily chart, it's way oversold. Even the lithium ETF, this has been a brutal pullback, but look at how bad this has gotten. And I'm expecting at least a technical bounce that could be very considerable. Now, whether or not you think that lithium's got, I would say we're very close. I mean, this is a 10-year chart. Let me annotate this. Or less. This should be a real huge support. But look at, the first move down from 25 to cut in half before it more than triples. Then cut in half before it goes up 5x. Then cut in half. I think there's a good possibility that this secular bull in lithium is not over. I've avoided lithium for a period of time. It's obviously the bloom has come off from this move in 2020 to 2022, late 21. There's value now around this sector. So Max is one of them. And I think that the good news on Max is that the people behind this deal are so heavily invested and they do have they have some real stroke in the markets and such a vested interest that I don't think they're going to be able to let this thing fail no matter what. And they've got, tons of assets that they have that could be monetized in the lithium area. But one of the things I've heard, and I think this is what they're going to do, is they've been in negotiations for a long time on a very attractive uranium asset. Uranium obviously is getting a bid in this market and is an area that people want more exposure to. So what might end up happening is that, they get a uranium asset or two, spin out an entire uranium company, or they just add this really nice big one and focus on Wilcox discovery and then the uranium project, which is in the States. I don't know, when that will be secured, but it could be any day. I think it's been worked on for a while, and they're determined to try to get this deal done because they want to have that sexy part in case lithium, continues to suffer. But when I look at that, 10-year chart on lithium, I'm buying more lithium now. I mean, I was wrong on Lithium Americas for the swing trade. But what ends up happening is these things are going to end up bouncing pretty substantially, even if, say, the bull cycle is totally over and it's going to roll back over 5 years. You're going to see a lot of that stuff. I'm just going to look at LAC without changing my screen share. Like, for example, on that one, I came in October after it had puked and cut in half quickly. And then I pulled the trigger on the recent third tranche there. And what'll end up happening is, it's at $4 US. It'll easily jump up to 6.5, something like that, which would be basically, now not on the options. The options are pretty toasted, but on the stock, break even. Max, my suggestion for premium members is do not abandon it here. It's oversold. We didn't get the move we were looking for in the short term. My mistake, but we adjust. And in some of these cases, I would say, just bail, move on. We've got other better things to move on to, but I actually like Max and what they're doing. They've got a lot of upside. They have a lot of commitment from strong investors, and I think it's going to recover. So what I would do is I would average down on Max under 27 Canadian as of right now. And if it does go down closer to the low to 20, that's where I would back up the absolute truck. I don't see it going lower than that, or, this is mostly done already. So we've felt the pain. Worst case scenario, we own it up to like 50 cents. If you buy a little bit more and you get a bounce back to 35, if you don't want to deal with it anymore, take like a 10% haircut and sell it. But I'm holding it for the longer term, and I am nibbling on more right here. I did think that it was gonna, if it broke that weekly channel trend, we'd have some more downside. We're seeing that. Where it closes at the end of this week is going to be important. My guess is they're going to have a push into the end of the week. So today, tomorrow, if you can buy some, in the mid-20s, I would chip away at it. Stick with it. We'll get out of this one okay. And with some luck, and we do have a third phase of a secular bull market blow off top in lithium, we can make a fortune. That's it for today on Max, and good to wake up to really strong drill results from Focus. I'll be sharing the Rick Rule interview on Real Vision with you guys probably tonight. I gave it to the Elite members a little bit early. Premium, you guys will really love this. I did a 2-part with Rob McEwen. These guys are all over the moon about these interviews. They're a little unique. You're gonna really like them, I think. So I'm gonna share those with you, even if they're behind the paywall at Real Vision. You'll get it for free, and then they keep it there for 2 weeks, 10 days, and then they put it on YouTube. Anyway, have a good day.